And then people are just like, putting them down and not understanding those issues as well. People take drugs, people get addicted to them, right? People eat food and they get addicted to alcohol. It's always some form of addiction, right? That they're getting, that whatever they're putting in their body is giving them that addiction. But people don't see it that way.
How do we know that addictive behavior isn't being caused now? Maybe we're seeing more addiction in people now because of the chemicals that are in the food.
Yeah. Also, I think it's more readily, available, and it's in your face.
It's also
each addiction is different. Obviously, there are different.
Yeah, but here's the
more
thing:
stress these days, financial situations. I think that could also contribute to it.
But okay, so for example, if they legalized crack cocaine tomorrow, I'm not going to go out and be like, "Oh, let me try this stuff." I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, there might be a certain percentage of the population that's like, well, it's legal. We can smoke crack now. But I think the vast majority, if they didn't want to smoke crack before, are not going to start smoking crack because it's legal.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Listen, marijuana's been legal in California for years now.
2007, I think, right? Or 2004?
Yeah, I haven't. I can walk into a store today and buy weed and come home and smoke, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
So
it's too strong. The weed nowadays is too strong.
The funny thing is,
it's not even enjoyable anymore. That's why I stopped smoking. Because it would get me so paranoid.
I've never smoked it. So
I've heard people make this argument.
Back then, it was you take it, you relax,
you're mellow, you're watching a
watch cartoons. Now you're like, holy shit, something's gonna happen.
Well,
that's what I've heard you panic on, like smoking. I'm like, I'm not down for that.
So that's how all the weed is now, because it's like 86% THC, and back then it was like 8%.
Like, I was gonna say like probably less than 10.
Yeah,
but
10. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing though, is like people have said that they're like, now smoking weed is like smoking crack because it's so strong.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not fun anymore. I mean, look, again, it's capitalism, because it's like, well, if we make the stronger weed, people will buy it. So they just kept making stronger and stronger weed, and it's like, well, if we genetically modify this plant so that it doesn't get like the whatever bugs on it, then we get better crops, we get better yields, whatever.
Better yield, yeah.
Again, it all comes down to capitalism.
Yeah.
I heard they're gonna legalize mushrooms next.
Yeah, I heard. I think in Oregon they're already legal.
Already legal, yeah.
And I think I don't know if this is accurate. I think I heard something about San Francisco has already legalized it.
There's a shop. There's a place called The Church in San Francisco or in Oakland.
Maybe it was Oakland. Yeah, somewhere up there.
You can go buy mushrooms there. Can you believe that?
Interesting.
But I mean, look,
truffles in Amsterdam too.
But mushrooms also, from what I've read, properly dosed and properly used, actually do have some benefits. Apparently people that have like PTSD and stuff like that, they're actually seeing benefits from using psychedelic mushrooms.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't eat freaking half a pound of this stuff and get zooted out of your mind. But like, if you do a controlled amount in a controlled environment with the right people and somebody who knows what they're doing, it probably does have some benefits.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sure that a lot of them do in some way.
That's I was gonna say. I'm sure everying does,
but we abuse it as people.
Yeah, of course.
Even weed.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of us think, I'm just gonna do this. Nothing's gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
And you just keep doing it over and over again.
Well, I mean, look at it this way. Like, if you have anxiety, you could take a Xanax and you could feel better. Or if you don't have anxiety, you could take 4 Xanax a night just to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's like you could abuse it, and I'm sure a lot of people do.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because if people didn't abuse it, then it'd be just readily available, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to go through all these hoops to be able to get a prescription for Xanax or Ativan or whatever it is.
Well, you could just buy it down the street from someone.
Okay,
yeah, but it could be laced with fentanyl. That's the big issue today.
So,
everything could be laced with fentanyl in the streets.
But and again, that goes back to what we were talking about, though, is because they just want to sell shit that's stronger. So it's like, well, sprinkle a little fentanyl in there, and now all of a sudden, you know what it is, though? It's not even that. So the whole problem with fentanyl, and this is the problem, is so the cartels that are bringing the pills across the border, So let's say they're making whatever. They're making their own Xanax pills. They're making them in the same place with the same presses and stuff that they use for their fentanyl pills. So a little bit of dust gets in there, and for somebody that doesn't use fentanyl regularly, I mean, I'm sure I don't remember what the amount is, but it's like point something milligrams will kill you.
Yeah,
like,
it's like 0.00.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing too. Just like pharmaceutical drugs, I gotta wonder. I don't know if anybody's done on some drugs. I'm sure they have, like things like Tylenol, and it's like prolonged use of Tylenol will cause liver failure, whatever.
Yeah.
But on some of the you can't really test prolonged use on something like, for example, Vicodin. Or because you're not going to put somebody on Vicodin for 40 years and then be like, oh, I wonder what this did to their body. I'm sure there's a few, but you don't have a big enough sample size of people that are taking drugs for that long with these prescription drugs to be able to tell.
No, I was taking like ibuprofen for, that when I was having that shoulder pain, I was taking ibuprofen for like almost a month, and I was like in so much pain, and I was just kept taking it, and it like messed my stomach up, and I had to go to the hospital, and it was just like not.
Christ.
Well, you get
It was just not
people
it.
get
What was how many milligrams? The big ones?
It was 200 milligram, and I was taking maybe 6 or 7 a day, if not more, because I was in so much pain, and I don't really like taking Vicodin or anything like that.